Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X researcher and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one is entitled Two Suns in the Sky. Now, on December 4th, 2015, two suns were observed in the sky from an Indonesian airport. A still image recording the event appears below. So let's look at that. So you can see it looks like two suns in the sky. Now, since more than 50% of all stars of about the same size as the sun are part of a binary star system, it is natural to ask if the sun is in fact part of a binary system, which would then explain what we are seeing in this image. The nemesis theory, which suggests that the sun has a twin called Nemesis, is well established. The sun's twin is supposed to come close to the sun periodically and wreak havoc on the solar system at those times by sending asteroids into the solar system, which may then impact the planets orbiting the sun. Now, there is actually some evidence that such a star is in fact either in the outer reaches of the solar system or just outside it. According to Terrellcraft, who has tracked the star through its gravitational influence on the Earth, an influence which gives rise to large earthquakes whenever it is aligned with the sun and the Earth, this star appears to be coming in toward its perihelion position. However, this particular twin of the sun's or nemesis does not emit any light, and thus Terrell refers to it as the dark star. As I have detailed in article 208 entitled Incoming Dark Star, the fact that the star does not emit light suggests that the stellar cores, which have been extensively observed in the sun's corona, absorbing energy from the sun, and the fact that the sun is much weakened as a result of their effect, in addition to the fact that the sun actually goes dark periodically as a result of the influence of this system of its stars, suggests that the dark star has been affected and most likely invaded by the system of dead stars as the sun has, and that Nemesis went dark before the sun. In this case, the sun's twin would not be observed. So how could we then observe two suns in the sky side by side? And what you see here is an SDO image of the sun, and you can see one of the stellar cores making its connection with the sun. It's drawing matter from the sun. That's why you see this root-like connection. It's actually a vortex through which it draws matter from the sun due to tidal forces that it exerts on the sun. These objects exert a weak gravitational force because of their low gravitational energy. They interact very weakly through the gravitational interaction. Now you may look at article 116 entitled Planet X Objects, Unbelievable Evidence and Size for more details on these objects. Now, it is possible that at certain times the stellar cores draining this dark star of energy may decrease their withdrawal of energy enough for the star to turn on for short amounts of time, at which time it would become visible. We do know that the sun goes dark periodically as a result of this draining of energy, the effect of these stellar cores. And if it goes dark now and then, it's possible that this other star would turn on now and then if the stellar cores stopped withdrawing so much energy. But on the other hand, it's been dark for so long that it's probably unlikely that this would occur. Now, in order for the star to be visible, if it was possible, if it was emitting any light at all or even for a short time, and in order for it to be visible so close to the sun's position, it would have to be close to almost perfectly aligned with the sun and the earth. In addition, the star would have to be much larger than the sun in order to appear to be the same size as the sun. And the probability that two stars which are different sizes are aligned in such a way that they appear to be side by side and exactly the same is actually extremely small. So this illustrates the problem that we have. Nemesis is not like the stellar cores. It interacts gravitationally just as strongly as the sun and other celestial objects do. So it's not likely that it comes very close into the solar system if it is the sun's twin, as it would, if it did, it would totally disrupt the orbits of the planets. And if it is coming in now, it's likely that it has done the same thing in the past. So if Nemesis comes in, then it would remain on the outskirts of the solar system. And here I have drawn it just beyond Jupiter's orbits. Here's the Earth, the Sun. This would be Nemesis. And Jupiter is at a distance of 10.5 AU, so that's its orbital radius. And the Earth is at a distance of 1 AU. So the distance between the Sun and the Earth is 1 AU. And thus Jupiter is 10.5 AU away. That is 10.5 times more distant from the Sun than the Earth is. So if Nemesis is just outside Jupiter's orbit, then it would be at a distance of 11.5 AU from the Earth. And this would mean that in order for it to appear to be exactly the same size as the Sun, it would actually have to be 11.5 times larger than the Sun, because as we know, objects look smaller if they are further away. So the further it is, the larger it has to be in order to appear to be the same size as the Sun. So it's actually unlikely that such a huge star would be the Sun's twin, as such a huge star coming so close to the solar system would most likely destroy the solar system. In addition, the fact that the dark Sun went dark much sooner than the Sun suggests that it is smaller than the Sun. Now, another option is that the star seen next to the Sun from Earth was actually very close to the Sun. Since we have to look westward in order to see the Sun at sunset, the star seen to the left of the Sun is actually, if it is very close to the Sun, is actually below the Sun's south pole. And this is illustrated here. So at sunset, in order for an observer on Earth to see the Sun, that observer has to be turned towards the west. So here we have the Earth's north pole, the Earth's south pole. East would be facing the person reading or away from the screen, and west would be on the other side of the Earth. So we are seeing the back of the observer. Then this is the observer's right arm, this is the observer's left arm. This observer is looking at the Sun. So in order for Nemesis to appear to be on the left, it actually has to be just below the Sun's south pole. So this is what we would have to have. We'd have to have a Nemesis right below the Sun in order to appear to be to the left from Earth for an observer looking westward. So if the star is very close to the Sun, it's not likely to be the dark star Nemesis. There are stars in the Sun's corona, the stellar cores, as I've mentioned, and some are larger than the Sun. And we see one of these that appears to be just about the same size as the Sun. And this one was observed in a LASCO C2 image. And this is from July 23rd, 2017. As you can see, it's perfectly circular. This object was dark, though it wasn't emitting any light. So these are stars in the Sun's corona, the stellar cores, and some are larger than the Sun. But these are dead stars. Their gravitational effect on the Sun and other celestial objects is extremely weak. And you may look at article 210 entitled Stellar Core Gravity, Tidal, and G is not constant. As they are no longer able to generate gravitational energy and can therefore go very close to the Sun without major disruption. But the dark star Nemesis would exert a full-strength gravitational attraction on the Sun, and being so close to the Sun would most likely result in a collision that would destroy both stars and the solar system with it. So instead it could be that a stellar core has regained the ability to emit light. However, if this is the case, then this star should be visible most of the time rather than just for a moment in time, as these objects are not likely to ever move very far from the Sun. But more importantly, even though the stellar core appears to regain the ability to emit light, Since the ability is regained at the sun's expense, it is unlikely they will ever have the ability to be anywhere near as bright as the sun is. So it is unlikely that any will ever look just like the sun. So if there is another star of comparable size and brightness as the sun in the solar system, it should be possible to see it more often, and it should also be observed in slightly different positions, even if it's a stellar core that has regained its ability to emit light. We should be able to see it in slightly different positions with respect to each other. However, this is not the first time that the sun has been observed with another almost identical sun right next to it. In March of 2011, two suns in the sky were reported across East Asia on various television stations. The stars also appear to be exactly the same size and be of comparable brightness, and were again seen side by side. And here is a screenshot of what was reported on a local television station. This is from March of 2011. So you can see it looks like two suns in the skies. Now, since the presence of the stellar cores in the solar system, the fact that the sun periodically goes dark is hidden from the population with the spraying of aerosols or chemtrails in the upper atmosphere, and the use of devices such as sun simulators and lens systems in the atmosphere. And you may look at Article 218 entitled Chemtrails, Sun Simulators, and Stellar Cores, a Multi-Level Conspiracy for more details on that. It is therefore possible that one of the suns seen in Indonesia in 2015 is in fact a sun simulator. There are sun simulators that operate within the atmosphere at cloud level. They look circular, but instead of being spherical, they appear to be disc-shaped. And we see one of these devices here. So we know that this is not the real sun because we can see cloud in front of the device and behind it. And in addition, it's not perfectly circular. We would expect the sun is perfectly spherical. So in the Earth's atmosphere will look perfectly circular. But as you can see, there are straight lines and jagged parts. This is definitely not a perfectly circular edge. So, and we can see there are clouds that are clearly behind it and clouds that are in front of it. Not all of these clouds are that we see here are in front of this object. They are behind it. So this cannot be the real sun. This is a sun simulator. And you may look at Article 226b entitled Sun Simulating Devices, the Irrefutable Evidence, for more details on the fact that we have these devices operating inside the Earth's atmosphere. So looking at a close-up of the two suns as observed from Indonesia in 2015, we can see that this one also appears to have clouds in front of it and behind it. You can see the rest of this cloud seems to go behind this object. And the same seems to occur here. Whilst with this one, it looks like this cloud, as you can see, the rest of this cloud seems to be in front, and this cloud seems to be in front of it. There appears to be cloud in front of this object here. And the same is not occurring with this one. And in addition, you can see straight lines in the edge. This is not a perfectly circular sun. So this is therefore, or it seems to be, it's very likely not to be the real sun, but is actually a sun simulator. So we therefore seem to have a sun simulator in the atmosphere. It therefore seems that the two suns seen above and the one seen in Figure 7 from 2011 are the result of a slight misalignment of a sun simulator in the atmosphere and the real sun, as the simulator is supposed to always appear to be in front of the real sun. The only way to make sure that the two are always aligned for people observing from the ground is to have a lens system within the atmosphere, as I have detailed in Article 166 entitled Sun Simulator and Lens System. It appears that the lens system failed in both of these instances. So in conclusion, only one of the suns appearing in the sky and seen from an Indonesian airport in 2015 is a real star and the real sun. The other has clouds in front and behind it, and an edge which is far from being perfectly circular, as the sun's edge would be expected to be, and is therefore a sun simulator operating within the Earth's atmosphere. The appearance of two side-by-side suns seems to therefore be as a result of the lens system in the Earth's atmosphere having failed to align the real sun and the sun simulator perfectly. And here are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.